Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of my vlog. I normally do a little bit of an intro. I'm Jaspreet, if you've not come across me before, and I started vlogging last June, I think. Yeah, I want to say last June. It was actually something that was in the making for about a year before. I've realised I've not really said much about me and my journey. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that today. So yeah, a year before I wanted to do it, and things kind of just came together for me eventually, confidence wise, just feeling better about things in life, and yeah, wanting to open up and share more. So this is kind of one of the reasons why I've set this up. Another reason is that I am exploring coaching as a profession, and I thought it's a good way for anyone who comes across me to get to know me a little bit better, and also hear about my journey. So that's another reason why I've set it up. And finally, I think, well, actually, there's two other reasons. I have struggled with, like I said before, the confidence thing of speaking up sometimes about how I feel, like actually vocalizing things. I often think a lot. I'm quite a reflector. And I feel like since having done these vlogs, I'm definitely growing in confidence, definitely feel more able to speak up. And yeah, like it's almost like an online diary for me. So yeah, it's a nice way sometimes, because I don't get around to writing things down. It's a nice way just to get to the end of the week and be like, okay, so what's on my mind right now? So it serves me as much as I'm hoping it's serving people who are watching this. Um, and I can't remember what the other reason was now. So that's kind of like the main reasons for why, oh, if you're on a coaching journey yourself, so if you're in the process of either just exploring it, thinking about it, or you've set yourself up, I thought this was a good way for someone who is on that journey to see how someone else is doing. Not that I'm an amazing, really successful coach out there, as in successful, but in my own definition of success, and that's not necessarily having a lot of money through this. It's not also attracting lots of clients all the time. The coaching journey for me is actually more about my own journey. So it's based on how much I am actually doing what I really want to do with my time, and not what I think I should be doing, which is where I was a few years ago. And opening, like I said, opening up more, and sharing more, because I think through that a lot of healing can happen. Yeah, so that's another reason for why I do the vlogs, but also as a coach who looks to help someone else out there, support someone, guide someone, you yourself as a coach need, to let off steam, to also just, and this is my approach, be that human. Not always, well, I don't think I have tried to come across like everything's great, everything's fine, everything's perfect all the time. And this, doing these vlogs has been my kind of acceptance that not everything is fine, not everything is perfect, not everything is great, and just being honest about that and sharing that with whoever wants to hear, but just even to myself, because of all that conditioning that I've thought, I had these beliefs in place. And as I've stripped back a lot in life, I'm starting to see how unhealthy these beliefs are. And I finally got to a point where I actually want to work on them. So that's quite a few reasons for why I have set this vlog up. But I thought actually I'm going to say a little bit more about that today, and also talk about my journey. And I think maybe this one's more to do with helping any other coaches out there. I have a feeling it might go down that route. Let's see, because I keep these very fluid. But before I do go down there, I do have a really exciting piece of news that I want to share. So if you've been following me, you'll know that I moved from London to where I am now, which is Basingstoke, and getting to know my area and also my new home. And before we moved, because where we used to live in London, we couldn't have a dog. But I've always been really passionate about these particular beings in the world, and I was like, oh, I really want one, and I don't know when it's going to happen, if it will ever happen. Will the stars align, and will this actually? Because as a very young girl, I absolutely adored them. I have had some really negative experiences with them, but despite those, I still have this massive love for them. And as I've spoken, I think, before a few times, during this kind of, I call it my self-exploration journey, I stopped my career, I started exploring who I am as a person, and what happened as part of that, as I knew I couldn't have my own dog during that time, which seems like it would have been a good thing, but I think it's good that it didn't happen at that point. I instead started exploring other avenues as to how I can spend more time with them. So I did become a dog walker. First I did it on my own, and then being in London, lots of opportunities that way. There was an organisation that I worked for a little while as a part-time dog walker, which was quite a intense experience. Not like this kind of perhaps a utopian vision that I had. Oh yes, just go for nice little walks in a lovely park somewhere. No, it was quite on the go kind of job, and eventually I had to give that up. So I've done a bit of that, and yeah, so I've tried to keep the dream alive, so to speak, through doing things like that. However, before we moved, I started thinking, okay, we're going to get a house. We can make the rules up now. We're not living by anyone else's rules whilst renting. And I was like, okay, started looking into types of breeds that I liked, and then I think I was on the way back from somewhere. I went for a walk in my local park, and one of the breeds that I'd looked up actually was in the park at that time. And it was my first opportunity to see this breed live. Like I started following YouTubers and Instagram accounts of this particular breed. I don't know why I'm keeping that a surprise. I think you can kind of tell where I'm going with this. So once I saw that dog, I was like, right, come on, Jaspreet, just, how do they say it? Get the bull by the horns kind of thing. If that's what you want to do, no need to and ah about this. Just go with your gut instinct here and trust that everything will fall into place how it's meant to. So off I go on the net looking for, and the breed is a Hungarian Vizsla, and I eventually stumbled across this person's profile, and just the advert itself was speaking to me. It just seemed like there was a lot of care that had gone into how they were doing things in terms of a breeding point of view, how they wanted to communicate it to potential buyers, and just, yeah, like I got a good feeling. So that was a couple of months ago, if not more. And now I'm just going to cut to the chase here. We have got a doggy, and it is this Hungarian Vizsla, and she joined us. Her name is Frida. She joined us on Saturday gone, and it's been an intense experience, but also just the best kind of oh god, if you can tell from my face, I'm just so super happy that I finally fulfilled something that I wanted, a desire within me that's existed since I was a little one myself, and it's actually come to life. Like I've made this a reality now, and you know, it just feels so satisfying as well. Like I'm quite a spiritual person, so I feel like my soul has. Oh, I feel a bit emotional about it, but yeah, I feel like I'm actually, yeah, listening to what my soul really wants, and I'm actually, how do I put this? Like honoring, yeah, that's the word. I'm really honoring what my soul wants and making it happen, you know, not because I used to be this person that would, as I said, and and I don't know, sometimes, you know, the soul's desires would well, I think that they're always there, but they would end up quietening down, and I would forget that those are the things that light me up. So I finally, you know, didn't let that voice die within, and actually just went with it, trusted it. I mean, I didn't know how this was going to turn out. It just so happens that the breeders that we've got her from, they have been fantastic throughout the process. And yeah, like so far we're almost a week in, and yes, there's been lots of sleepless nights, but I just, like I said to someone recently, I would not give her up for the world. I would not change my decision for the world. It is one of the best things that I've ever done, and oh, she's so cute. I mean, she's sleeping right now, so I was like, shall I bring her into this vlog to introduce her? But I didn't want to, you know, deny her of her sleep. She needs that like a little baby does. So maybe in a future vlog very soon, she will appear, and yeah, it just feels good to share a little bit about my life in that way. I am a doggy person, and they're an amazing, special being. And the thing I want to really say about them, I think I've said it before, is that I just feel so present when I'm in their presence, because that's where they're at, that's where their energy is, well, that's what they give off, and it's like, for me, it's infectious. I'm just there with them in that moment, and because she's such a gorgeous cutie pie, you can't not watch her constantly. So I just love that about any dog, but obviously now that I've got my own, I just love that about her. Like she just grounds me, you know, like brings me back to where I'm at in this moment. And also she's so affectionate. Like she is a very sensitive soul, and the breeder said, I think she's a good match for you, because I did say that I am a bit of a sensitive soul. Don't know if you've noticed that through some of these vlogs, or obviously my little emotional moment a minute ago. And he was like, yeah, I think she's going to be a good match for you. And I think he's right. I think she is, because there's, you know, with that comes this understanding that, you know, what her needs are and what my needs are. And I'm learning so much from her besides the presence thing. I think it's just this having responsibility over another being. And I think maybe I didn't think that I had the capacity to be able to take care of, you know, another being. And this week is just proving to me that I have it in me to do it. So yeah, that's been probably one of the biggest revelations. And I'm just so grateful. She doesn't even know this, but I'm just so grateful to her already that this is what she's doing for me. So love you, Frida. I know you're not watching, but oh gosh, she's just so cute. Okay, so I thought I'd just share a bit on my doggy news, and yeah, bring a bit more of me into this as well. I think I do that, but I really wanted to dedicate a bit of time to that exciting piece of news. I need to get some water in. I think these bottles are really good because they make you look at how much you drink, and I don't think I drink enough water, so yeah. The other area that I thought I would touch on today is it's around my coaching journey. Actually, I thought it would be good to kind of open up about how I've gone about it and what's worked for me. Just because I think there might be someone out there watching or wanting to know, how do you make this happen? And I just want to speak to that a little bit. So I didn't know that I wanted to go down the coaching route at all. I stopped working in 2018, and it was probably a year later that I had this kind of desire, or this almost, it was a little whisper, if I'm honest, that this is a potential avenue for me. Or the soul's whisper is never potential, it is an actual avenue. But I didn't leap into action straight away. I've taken time around it. I haven't gone, okay, that's what I want to do, and then just thrown myself into it and set myself up as, a business or anything. I've taken things very, very slowly, and some of it is intentional and some of it is about my own personal challenges as well. So what I want to say about that is that I'm not someone that's full of confidence. I'm not someone who will just throw myself into something without any thought or without kind of fear cropping up. I'm more of a person that will take things at their own pace and just do things, like these days at least, do things that just feel more authentic. Like if I'm just not feeling it, then I don't push myself with it. And I mean, some would say that, you're just not going to make things happen if you don't go for it. But I think for me, I've got to really want it to be able to go for it. Like the dog story that I've just shared, that wasn't a push, that was more of a pull, actually. I'm getting drawn towards something. That's why it's happening for me. That's quite a good, I didn't think about that before, it just kind of came to me now. But yeah, like I even when I heard that whisper that coaching is an avenue, I haven't, like I said, I haven't just gone for it. I've just taken very slow steps in that direction. So right now, I'm not working flat out with lots of clients all the time. No, I am, if anything, still in those really early stages. I've set up a website. I've got some social media platforms on the go, post there with this vlog on a weekly basis, do the occasional post mainly on my Facebook business page, in terms of, besides doing this, anything else that feels like it aligns with my message, I will post on there. But there's, in terms of activity, I'm not making this like a pressurized, like a push thing. I'm kind of more in that go with the flow state. And in terms of my personal challenges that I touched on before, I think I talked about it a little bit in not the last vlog, the vlog before, about how I've had like this difficult kind of week. And I just want to say a little bit more about that, because there might be someone out there watching this who has had a similar experience and feels like they want to move into this direction or a new direction, but it's like, but I have this going on as well. Like, how do I go down that route? And what I wanna say to that is that do things in your own timings. Don't feel the need to live up to what's going on around you, what people are doing around you. So if your own rhythm, for instance, mine sometimes is that I have low days or even low weeks because I just feel I call it I was I was in my diary earlier on today and I was writing about it and I was kind of calling it an anxiety storm. So like uh, a thunderstorm kind of thing, but a metaphorical way of describing it, where like black clouds kind of come over and I just can't see the light. I can't see possibility. I can't see opportunity, creativity, nothing. Everything just feels like it's gone from me. And all I can think about is, or not think, just it's more like a feeling, like I just feel really caught up in it and almost paralyzed. Like I'm not able to move in any direction. And normally when that happens, I tend to just sit it out like an actual storm. So my go-to soother is watching some TV or just being on YouTube and watching some of my favourite people on there or favourite dogs on there. So when I have a few days of that, and then after that kind of comes through my system, like I've kind of, it's almost like gorging, I guess. Like if you kind of tend to turn to food, my thing is more doing that. And then once I've got through that, gorged on a bit of Netflix or whatever, it's almost like then something shifts in me and it's like, okay, you've done that, you've got that out of your system. And it's almost like a now what question. And then after that, there is this kind of almost like a little glimpse of light starts shining through. And then I start feeling like, okay, I can make, I can change. I can go from feeling anxious and unsure about how I'm gonna make a decent living out of this to just being a lot more present. So bring it back to this moment as opposed to thinking about the future. Because I think my storms are more about that future place. And I do still have kind of things that crop up from the past, but I think when I get caught up like this, it tends to be future concerns. So yeah, like I mean, I haven't been to a doctor or anything about this. Some may call this maybe some kind of mild form of anxiety, depression. I don't know, like I'm sure there's so many terms out there that probably align to this, what I'm going through. I guess my journey hasn't necessarily been about getting medical, like the traditional medical support at the moment, at least. It's not because I don't think it has a place in the world. I think it does, but in my kind of what feels good for me is actually this self-exploration journey that I've been on and getting support from a coach, which I did do in the first year of not working, and kind of finding my own roots that might not be the traditional sense, kind of finding my own way with this. So I think sometimes going down the medical route, it has its place, but it can be a reactive place. And I'm not interested in just, reactive. I'm more, let's get to the root of this. Let's kind of really try and understand what is going on here and why it's happening. Maybe not necessarily why, but what's going to help me? What's going to help me get through this? Because this is a human experience. Like, there's so many people out there that have their own version of this anxiety cloud or storm. We all have, things, challenges that we face. So yeah, and everyone does things differently, and that's kind of been my way for now. And yeah, so, this realization that I want to go down the coaching route, and then to also know this about myself, and only I feel like now I really want to talk about it. Like, I actually want to say, this is how, what happens to me. This is how I feel occasionally, and how that can impact the kind of person that you want to be. And if that is you out there, I just want to speak directly to you for a moment. I just want to say, like, you can, and this is not just coaching, you can do whatever it is that your soul really desires. You just need to trust that it will fall into place, and you also need to have more belief in yourself, because you can be that person that has anxiety attacks or storms or depression, but also be someone who lives a fulfilled and peaceful life. You can be both. And obviously there's more things that you can be, but just to kind of do a bit of yin and yang here, you can have both. Because I feel like, I might not be turning an amazing income here with my business, because I'm still in those kind of stages of really getting it off the ground, but I'm still committed to that, whatever that is, whether it's just coaching, it might be even other things, but I'm still committed to leading this kind of life, as opposed to going back to what I was doing before out of fear, because that's where that was living out of fear. So yeah, I just wanted to share a bit about how I'm doing this, and also how I'm not doing this, like, it's not happening sometimes. It does get put down, like I'm not doing anything in relation to the business since I've moved to Basingstoke, and especially this week since having Frida, it's not really happening. And I don't know how long that's going to be for, but it is what it is. Like, I've got to a point where there is this acceptance that this is just how it is right now, and also it won't be like this forever. Because having had some bursts of creativity before, I know that they come in spurts for me, so I don't need to beat myself up for not being this coach all the time. And like, if you're someone who's thinking about going down this route or changing direction in life, you don't have to do it in one big bang, like, right now I'm this person, you don't have to. You really don't. You can take your time with it. You can explore yourself first. You can try it out and then put it down and then come back to it. You can try it out and realize it wasn't for you, and then have a revelation as to what it is that you really do want to do. There's so many different ways of doing this, so I thought I would just spend a bit of time talking about that, and give anyone out there hope that you can do whatever it is that you, at the moment, you may not know what that is, or you do but you haven't plucked up the courage to make that transition. I just want to say that it is all possible, in terms of getting to that place that you want to be in the future. So yeah, that's kind of my little share for today. And I also want to say, like, the whole anxiety depression thing, that obviously it's not easy, but I'm still here, and I'm trying to work with it now, rather than live a life of kind of, no, this doesn't happen to me, and no, everything's good. Let's not tell the whole world what's going on. Let's just, cover it up and make out that everything's hunky-dory, because that's not being truthful. And one of my principles, I don't know what the word is, but yeah, something like that, of this coaching journey that I'm on is speaking my truth. And I think the more I do it, the more I lean into that direction that feels more true for me. And I think the more you, if you're watching this, can do it, if you're someone who has these challenges, the more you will be able to free yourself up from whatever you think is bad about being that person, and become more accepting of it. So yeah, it feels good. It feels good to open up about that, and maybe I have inspired you to do the same with either your friends or family, your workplace, your dog. Maybe start there, because it's easier sometimes to talk to something that may not fully understand what you're saying, and then take it from there. Because yeah, it's not easy talking about these things, but I think it's important, which is why I did try to do it today. Okay, so thank you for joining me if you've watched me all the way till the end, and I will see you in a week's time, and maybe Frida will be with me if you're lucky. All right, have a lovely weekend. Take care.